All right, everybody. Unhappy Wednesday. Coming to you live once again from our humble abode. Not for too much longer, though. This is the Unhappy Gilmore Show, powered by Green Legion Radio and part of the Green Legion Radio family. We thank you for joining us tonight from wherever you may be and whatever service you're using to tune in. So please pull up a chair, turn up the volume, use the company dime if you're still stuck at work, crack open a cold one if you've got the opportunity, and let's have some fun as we put an end to day 3 of this week's hostage situation and look forward to tomorrow being Friday Eve. Who do we got over here so far? Keenan Harmon says, "Don't call me Diaz." I love all the posts. Lou Mancini, did you get some Kelly Green swag? I did not, but I do already have a Jerome Brown jersey, and I have a Kelly Green hoodie, and I have my Kelly Green hat up there. So I'm pretty well covered, brother. I didn't really need to go crazy on that stuff. Oh, and I also bought that chain thing when I was up there visiting, with the old emblem on it, the Kelly Green Eagle on it. So we're pretty well covered. Who else we have here? Nick Danini. Yo, what's up, brother? Welcome to Thunderdome. We try to have some fun here on Wednesday nights, guys. Green Legion Radio. The podcast here on Wednesday nights. They have the shows on Fox Sports The Gambler there in Philly. And, especially once football season comes around, we can't all talk about the same thing, right? It would be real easy for me to just sit here and just babble on about the Eagles just constantly. But you're going to get a lot of that with the pregame show. You're going to get a lot of that with the players show. You're going to get a lot of that with Green Legion Radio. And so we try to switch it up a little bit on Wednesday nights. We still stick to football mostly. We still stick to birds a lot. And we'll get into more of that as we get going into the football season here. Keenan Harmon, look. Hey, Lou, looking for a Kelly Green Eric Allen jersey. I saw those on Fanatics, brother. I see people posting that they've ordered, and the delivery dates are sometime this week or next week, all the way out to November. So, I mean, the only one that I was really enticed by, I really wanted to buy the Dawkins Kelly Green. I know he never wore it, but I was really, really wanting to do that. Nick Danini, I want one of the Kelly Green helmets. They're going to be yeah. I love the look. I know a lot of us have been dying for this look to come back. And Nick again, and the first person to ever get my last name right. Well, there's a first time for everything, brother. Welcome aboard. So, as we do to open every show, we're going to run through the business end of it real quick, right? If you're tuning in on Facebook or Twitter, please do not forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe to the Green Legion. If those services are where you're more comfortable, totally understand. Just also understand, you can ask some of the regulars that are in the room here, Lou, Keenan. The YouTube channel is the best way to interact, like, comment, banter in the room with us and with the other folks in the room. That is the best way to do it on any Green Legion Radio show. So please do us a solid, even if you're more comfortable on Facebook or Twitter, and we're not telling you not to use them. Head on over to YouTube when you get a chance. Search the Green Legion, subscribe, hit your little bell for notifications, and always make sure you share that everywhere. All the help we always want to flood the internet with Green Legion all day, every day, as best as we can. If you cannot catch our shows live, you can always watch or listen later on any of the services previously mentioned, but also on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Every Sunday, Bud Light Baseball Brunch, Greg Murphy and Chris Sack. When the Phils are home, they are at Xfinity Live across the street from the bank. I had the pleasure of being able to sit with Chris just a couple Sundays ago and do the show with him. That was a blast. Murph was not over there with us because it was pouring rain. He did not want to cross the street in the monsoon, and I do not blame him. Don't forget to catch that, though. If you're a fan of the Phillies, that is the best Phillies talk you will find anywhere. I promise you, it's a great hour of it's just a great hour of Phillies talk. So tune in. Bud Light Baseball Brunch, Sundays at 11 a.m. Sometimes it's pre-recorded. Most of the time, it's a live ordeal. The Green Legion Invasions schedule has been out for months. Season is only a month away. And I say it every week, and I'll say it again. And Stephanie, I see Steph in the room here. Steph, I want Sirianni full Kelly Green. I'm with you, but Steph will attest to this. Don't wait. If there is an away game that you want to jump on, that you want to be a part of, that you want to go to, the Green Legion has you covered. However, it doesn't last forever. You have to book, and I mean book now. All right? Tampa is pretty much all booked up. Steph, I don't know if there's any left there. I know there wasn't much. LA is flooding as well. We also go to Kansas City, Dallas, Seattle, bus trips to Washington, D.C., and up for the Commodes game, and up to the Swamp in New York against the Giants and also against the Jets. If you're interested in any of those, get on to the Green Legion website and get booked. Stephanie just confirmed there are no rooms available left in Tampa. Still have game day stuff, I'm pretty sure. So you'd be on your own getting down there and getting your own accommodations, but always, you can still do the tailgate and everything like that. So, yeah, and Keenan confirmed it too. Here we go. Only game day left for Tampa, and Stephanie, they're saying no rooms. That filled up quick. That's the one that Michelle, my wife and I are going on. We're really looking forward to that. That is just over about a month and a half away. I think at this point, maybe a little bit more than that. Cannot wait. And here's Steph again. Should have 1,300 for the tailgate in Tampa. That's the tailgate, which for that trip is at George Steinbrenner Field, right across the street from Raymond James Stadium. Get down there. There'll be options to be indoors or outdoors. So, depending on the weather in Tampa, late September is still likely to be pretty hot. You could also have some storms passing through. It is a night game on a Monday night. So, but you'll have the option to duck inside for some AC or stand outside, if the weather's gorgeous. I mean, it is Florida, just as likely for it to be gorgeous too. But if you're interested in that and you can get your own accommodations and travel down there, go ahead and grab those tailgate, grab the tailgate package while you can, before that fills up too. Right now, 1,300 as confirmed by Steph. I don't know how much more they can take. All right, that covers the invasions, I think. Oh, what do we got here? William Gollins, is there tailgate for the Rams game? Yes, there is tailgate for the Rams game, and there is there's a full travel package available for the Rams game out in LA. That one, I think, is 2 weeks after the game in Tampa. So get on over to the Green Legion, greenlegion.com. Click on trips and tailgates. Scroll down, find the LA one, and take a look at the pricing and see what you want to do. I recommend it. You should not hesitate. Some people, the cost. Shut up. Because by the time you do any of that stuff yourself, you're going to spend the same, if not more. Keep in mind, part of these trips, part of these packages also includes that tailgate is 3 to 4 hours of open bar, all you can eat, all you can drink for 3 to 4 hours prior to the game. Also this year, and Steph, if you're still in the room listening, watching, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the pep rallies in Tampa and LA are both open bar as well. There's another 3 hours of debauchery that you don't have to pay for. You got to tip. Don't make me in Tampa come around and force people to tip. You got to tip. But outside of that, it's 100% open. So don't hesitate. I say it every week, and like I keep saying, we're going to keep saying it. If there's a trip you want to go on, do not think that you're going to be able to wait until, now, really, with some of them. Look at Tampa, it's full. Don't think you're going to wait till September to book an October trip. Don't, and so on and so forth. If there's one you're interested in, just pull the trigger and go. I promise you, you will not regret it. Green Legion, always the best way to go. If you don't want to get out on the road, understand that too. You're there in the local Philly area. Green Legion tailgates at 1100 Social, Xfinity across, right out across the parking lot from the link. Again, best tailgate you're going to find. Again, 4 hours open bar, as well as the pregame show live from the location. So I don't know what else I can say. Steph, I think I summed that up pretty well. She is confirming here all pep rallies are included for every away game hotel package. So there you go. If you book an away game hotel package with the Green Legion, your pep rally is included. That means you will have 2 opportunities for 3 to 4 hours of open bar, right? Now, behave yourself, but have fun too. And make sure you tip. All right. Moving on. Midwest Eagles Nest. This is for any of my folks out here in Ohio listening now or watching or listening later on. Saturday, September 2nd, 4 p.m., Back Porch Saloon. That's where we are going to meet up. This is for everybody, whether you're with us last year or not. But I know we've had a bunch of people join. Some joined late in the year last year, couldn't make it out for everything. A few people have joined since the season ended and are, wanting to meet some of us prior to the season kicking off. This is going to be your opportunity, okay? So I put out a post again today in that event page on Facebook in our group. If you can, go ahead and RSVP. It'll help with head count. If I had to guess right now, I think we're looking at like 30. But if we don't get enough RSVP, I'm only going to tell Mike to give us, space for 30. And then I can't guarantee there's going to be space for people who just kind of show up. So please let us know. We want to meet all of you. If we haven't met already, we want to see all the same faces. Excuse me, come back after last year to get ready for another, hopefully, run to the Super Bowl and hopefully victorious this time, right? All right. What else have I been missing over here? Stephanie's been keeping up with me the whole time here. Steph says, yes, great job. Thank you. It's part of my opening every week is to do this. So thank you very much. And then drinks. Woohoo! Yeah. Just a month and a half away. Can't wait to see everybody down there. Lou Mancini, if I can ever quit smoking, I would probably be able to attend all 17 games. You're not the only one with that problem, brother. I've cut back a lot, but not enough. Keenan Harmon, 2 opportunities for massive hangovers. Yeah, I would suggest pacing yourself. Don't do what I did in Arizona, which is where I got I let it fly real hard that Saturday night. And on Sunday morning, I had no voice. I was on the pregame show for all of 30 seconds before I had to call to the bullpen, and Super Sam had to come sit in for me because I couldn't talk. Still enjoyed the game, and it was a great win, but it was a little bit miserable for me because I had no voice. So we got back to the hotel, and I was just done. All right, Andrew Bagley, what's up, everyone? Let's go, Phils, get this win tonight. Yeah, guys, I like the trade that you made with Detroit, bringing another arm. Good job there. I know the Braves brought in a bullpen arm, but I think you guys needed that extra arm there. I think you're poised. You're pretty much right on where you were last year, and it's stupid to think that the same thing is going to keep happening over and over again. But I think that wild card is there for the taking, and I think the Phillies are well poised to jump right in there and make another run. Now you got the Marlins to deal with too, but I think the Phillies are definitely poised to jump in there and make a run at it. Stephanie is having a nice laugh at my expense, remembering my my idiocy from the Arizona trip. All right, so this past weekend, my boys and I, we went up to Toronto, and this kind of finished off our baseball thing for the summer. Well, I'm going to the Reds game next Monday, and then my boys and I are going to a thing called a Stampede on the 19th. But as far as travel for stuff, that was it. As far as, stuff or just me with the boys. We went up to Toronto, and, for the real, the number one reason was the Blue Jays. We wanted to get the Rogers Center checked off our list, and we did that. So that officially, now I've been to 19 different ballparks, but I only count the ones that we do together. My two sons and I, that we go together and we get our passport stamped together and all of that stuff. So together, and my oldest is 16. Right behind him is his younger brother, Liam, who will turn 13 this Friday. Together, we have been to 15 ballparks. So we are halfway there. And Toronto, I mean, we were very short period of time. So I'm going to run through it real quick, and then we're going to get on to the boner of the week and on to some football. Don't know how many of you have been up north of the border to Toronto. I mean, it was the area of downtown that we were in was really nice. You stayed outside the city and just commuted in. Got an easy parking spot through an app. That was simple. Crossing the border into Canada was a piece of cake. I handed the guy my passport and the 2 passport cards for my sons. He asked me where I'm coming from, asked me where I was going to, how long I was staying, what we were doing, and whether I had any weapons or drugs in the car. Answered all of his questions. He practically threw the passports back at me and just said, "See you later." Just said, "See ya." And off we went on into Canada. Weird. Getting back in was a little bit different, which I was happy to see. They were a little bit more strict. When I pulled up, the guy asked me to roll down all the windows. He wanted to see into the back of the car. You could see my son's head back there, so you want to see what was going on. Did not search any of our bags, but he did ask some more questions, making sure everything was on the up and up. But I was traveling with my kids. We had to look very, very harmless. Anyways, we had basically one day to hit a bunch of stuff while we were up there. So we did the CN Tower at 9:30 in the morning. So the observation deck was 1,136 feet up. Pretty awesome. From up there, it was a clear morning, but from up there, you're supposed to be able to see kind of all the way across Lake Ontario. They say on really clear days, you can see all the way to Niagara Falls. Unfortunately, the fires in Canada, you could definitely see from up there, the air quality was just not that good. So we couldn't see very far out, but great views of downtown. I took a lot of pictures. Those of you that follow me on social media, you saw them all. The Sky Pod is like another 350 feet up. Boys wanted no part of that. I was fine with it. From up at the Sky Pod, you can actually feel the thing moving back and forth. No thanks. And then there's the idiots that will actually harness themselves to the building, and it's called the Sky Walk or something like that. And they lean out, harness to the building. You're tethered, and you can just lean out like over the. No, we talked about that last week, right? Like I need to change the underpants. But yeah, the observation deck we went to, you could see all of Toronto and a little bit out in the lake. There's that little island out there with an airport on it. Looks pretty snooty, but we had, it's French, so we had croissants for breakfast while we were up there. Walked around, taking pictures of the views, took pictures of the kids, took one silly one of the 3 of us. Then we sat and people watched for a little while, and on the little things we were sitting on were these little discs about this big. And it had looked like a cell signal on it. Where you put your phone on it and just rest it there, and it charges your phone. So we sat there for a little bit, let our phones charge up some, and people watched for a while. That was fun. Got back down, went to the gift shop. My wife has been collecting shot glasses from different places that she's been to, that we've been to since long before I met her. So I got her the shot glass from there. It's pretty cool. It's like a kind of silverish color with a blue inside. My son Liam likes to collect pins from wherever we go, so he got that. Grady didn't find anything that he really wanted. So from there, because I had the parking spot downtown, we just walked back over to the car, put our souvenirs hidden in the car, came back up, and we went and had lunch. Now, I'm sure it wasn't like, the spot you have to go to get poutine, but we went to this place right there kind of on the strip, and we got poutine for lunch. Grady was not a fan. Something wrong with that kid. Doesn't like gravy. I don't know if you guys know what poutine is, but it's French fries with cheese curds, not deep fried or anything, just the curds, the cheese itself, and then like piping hot brown gravy on it. And they were delicious. Liam made almost a full plate. I did eat a full plate. And Grady, I had to get him some garlic bread to have. He didn't want any of the poutine. That was good. From there, we hopped over to the Hockey Hall of Fame, about a 10 to 15-minute walk. If you're ever up in Toronto, that is worth it. Just go. What do we got here? Lou Mancini, what's overrated? Poutine? You crazy. That stuff was awesome. Anyways, go to the hockey. If you ever find yourself up there and you have the opportunity, go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. So worth it. It's huge. It's in a mall, like a downstairs part of a mall. It's a little chaotic when you walk in. There's no like clear path of which way you should go. You walk up and you kind of walk into this center area, and encased in glass is a bunch of like different players. Like Mark Messier's there, Chris Pronger's in there, Eric Lindros had a thing in there. And then all around the outside of that is where some of the other displays go. Women in hockey, which was really cool. A friend of ours that lives down in Nashville, Tennessee, he's a musician down there, Isaac Matthews. His wife was a female hockey player. She coaches and stuff pretty much worldwide now. But she actually has a puck in the Hockey Hall of Fame from a goal that she scored some years back. I'd have to look at the actual year. But I walked up, took a picture with that, thought that was pretty cool. Like, oh, I know this person. The coolest part, they had a gift shop. They have an interactive area where there's these big screens, and you either shoot at a goalie and try to get it by him, or you're the goalie and the screen shows a play coming towards you, and there's like 6 slots in the screen, and you have to follow the puck and then see which slot's going to shoot out of and try to stop it. The boys did some of that. It was pretty cool. The gift shop, again, the interactive area. The best part for me anyways, they have an actual Stanley Cup in there. Now, it's not the current cup, I don't believe, but it's an actual Stanley Cup, and you got to touch it and get your picture with it. And I got a nice picture. I had them take, yes, I did the corny tourist thing. I paid $10 for it, and then I paid another $25 for a frame. But like, when the hell am I going back to Toronto? So I wanted to get something nice to commemorate. But that was really cool. That was really special, being able to actually touch a Stanley Cup. That was pretty awesome. Over to the gift shop, bought some stuff, got the frame, got the picture, got a hat. Liam got another pin. Again, Grady didn't really find anything he wanted. And then we walked back over to the car again. We were at the Hockey Hall of Fame for a good 3 hours. It's huge. So there's a lot to see there. So if you're going to go, if you're ever up there and you're going to go, allot yourself pretty much the entire afternoon to take that all in. Good news is, if you're hungry when you get out of there, it's the exit's right by a food court. So you can just hop right out there and get something to eat. We had already eaten the poutine and everything, so we were pretty full. We walked back over to the car again, put our souvenirs away. This time we got in the car and just chilled for a little bit. Didn't have to get back up to the Rogers Center for a few minutes. Chilled out for a while, charged our phones up, sat in the air conditioning, and cars start rolling into the garage that are coming in for the Blue Jays game. And now I'm sitting there, and I backed in, so we're facing out. And my lights are on because they just turn on in the auto thing. And people keep stopping and staring at me, and I had to wave them off. Like, no, I'm not leaving. Anyways, then we walked over to the Rogers Center. And, bittersweet, right? So last week when we talked here on this show, Shohei Ohtani was scheduled to pitch Friday night's game in Toronto. That's the game we were going to. Unfortunately, on that Wednesday, they had a rainout in Detroit, which forced them to play a doubleheader on the Thursday. And they pulled Ohtani up to pitch the first game of the doubleheader. Now, we had to drive pretty much through Detroit to get to Toronto, and we thought about stopping, but I'm like, another $250 added on this trip that I just didn't have in the budget, so we didn't stop. Of course, what does he do? Pitches his first complete game shutout, 1 hitter, strikes out 9, walks 3. How could you know? Second game, he hits. Now, he did go 0 for 5 with 2 or 3 strikeouts in the first game while he was on the mound. Second game, he hits 2 home runs and leaves the game with like tightness in his calf. He's cramping or whatever. So now I'm nervous. Is he going to play at all? Well, he did play Friday night. Of course, he didn't pitch, but he did play Friday night. He was the DH. And so we still got to see him. And what does he do? He walks up, and the first pitch he sees, he smashes it about, 380, 400 feet over the right field wall. And the whole crowd goes bonkers. My kids were thrilled to pieces. I was trying to record it. I had my phone out, and I'm recording. We're up in the upper deck pretty much near the front. And I'm recording it, and it caught me off guard. I didn't expect him to swing at the first pitch, and he just crushes it, and I just spazzed out. I'm like, holy shit, But yeah, nice solo shot. Didn't do much the rest of the night, and the Angels got beat. So that was the Rogers. Now the Rogers Center, I've got issues with the Rogers Center. First of all, it's an older stadium, so it doesn't have the entirely open air concourses like what you see nowadays with the bank, with Camden Yards. Here in Cincinnati, same thing. So the concourses, a lot of them are closed off like your older stadiums. Whatever. It's an older stadium. What I had the biggest problem with, they do not have any monuments, statues, Wall of Fame, no plaques, no Hall of Fame, nothing to commemorate the great moments or players that have played for that organization. There is one statue. It's outside the ballpark. It's of Ted Rogers Center. The people of Toronto are apparently not impressed, and there's supposedly going to be upgrades made over the next couple of years to fix that, but nothing. I mean, look, I know it's going to be a sore subject for a lot of you guys there in Philly as Philadelphia Phillies fans, but that Joe Carter home run to beat you guys to walk off the series against you guys in that freaking stadium. If you didn't know that happened, it's one of the most iconic moments in the history of the sport. And if you didn't know that it happened, you're not going to find out by going to the place where it happened. And that is beyond ridiculous. So they need to remedy that. The other part that I was a little upset with, and I mean much, much minor, but we always get my daughter stuffed animal from every ballpark. Now, some teams don't really have mascots, but the Blue Jays have a Blue Jay. His name is Ace. We actually ran it. We actually saw him on our way out, and I got the boys' picture with him. So the first thing we do when we get in the ballpark is we go straight to the gift shop. Liam gets his pin. Grady will find a hat, or this time he got a Funko Pop of Vladdy Jr., and I get my daughter the stuffed animal. We get our passport stamped. I ask for the biggest bag that they have. We put everything in there, and now for the rest of the time walking around, I've got a nice bag to carry everything in, including the washed-out ice cream helmets, souvenir cups, or whatever. So going to the gift shop, looking for this Blue Jay, I'm thinking this has got to be a piece of cake, right? Nah. Nothing. I walk around the whole thing. It's huge. Walk around the whole thing, don't find anything. I finally find a girl who's working there, ask her, hey, do you have any plush of the mascot? She said, no. I said, not here. Do you have them anywhere else in the ballpark? No, we don't have them at all. The thing doesn't exist. On the ride home from Toronto on Saturday morning, Liam in the back seat was looking it up online. They don't exist. So you have this kind of cool looking Blue Jay mascot to try to attract younger fans and make it fun for the kids, and you don't have a stuffed animal of it. I don't know. It was odd to me. But it was Canada, so whatever. All in all, absolutely great trip. And like I said, now the boys and I have been to 15 ballparks. We're at the halfway point. Over the next week, we're going to go over our rankings for those 15 ballparks and try to get them on the show here next week to go over what we think about that. So that was our trip to Toronto. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update there. What have I missed over here? Canada, eh? Yeah, Canada. What else do we got here? Liam in the net video was pure gold. I know, right? Did you? If you turn the volume up for that, you can hear me laughing hysterically. I was having a ball. Keenan Hartman paid $10 to touch. Yeah, I paid $10 to touch a cup. It's kind of perverted. Maria got a kick out of that. How you doing, Maria? Nice to see you again. Lou Mancini, Keenan, imagine having a yard sale and sitting next to a sign that says, God, you guys are too much. Russ Taylor. So I got this news alert. The Canadian Mounties are still looking for Gilmore and company. Yeah, well, you know. Lou Mancini, Russ is a personal friend of Dudley. Keenan, depends on where the sign is sitting, Lou. Could get arrested. Oh, yeah, let's not cross that. All right. We're going to run through the boner of the week here real quick, and then we're going to get on to football. So, let me good. Thank Maria says good. Good to hear it. Good to hear it, Maria. Russ Taylor, titties, that is all. Yeah, it's right there. All right. So, boner of the week, and there's always candidates, right? And guys, throughout the week, especially for those of you that are like regulars in here, if you see something or send it to me. You know, by all means, we'll look at everything and see which one fits the bill the best. But for this week, we're going to stick with my aggravation, okay? My unhappiness. So tell me if you've ever heard of this. All right? No, Lou, Ursay we're going to get to in a little bit, though. That was a little bit bigger deal than just boner of the week. But tell me if you've heard of any of this. So the Yankees on Monday night, they scratched Domingo Germán from his start. The report was that he was unable to even play catch due to pain in his armpit. You could have just said arm, you know, or mentioned whatever muscles up in there. His armpit. So they call up Johnny Brito and have him make the start instead. What happens to Johnny? Well, he promptly gets shelled by the Tampa Bay Rays, giving up 5 runs on 6 hits, including 4 homers over just 4 innings of absolute cold or hot, whatever way you like it, dumpster juice. So Brito gets pulled, right? 4 innings of getting rocked around that bad. He gets pulled. And who do you think comes on in relief for the Yankees? Any guesses? Domingo Germán, the guy who couldn't play catch before the game due to his armpit hurting. Like, what the heck? Now, you think that due to his apparent armpit problem, right, that he'd get rocked as well. No, quite the contrary. He goes the final 5 innings of that game, gives up 0 runs on just 2 hits while striking out 4. Now, I'd love to sit here and tell you that the Yankees brass, had a trade lined up, and that's the real reason why Germán didn't start the game. And that maybe the trade fell through, and they said, all right, let's get Brito out of there. He's getting lit up like a Christmas tree, and get Germán into the game. However, until proven otherwise, I'm chalking this up to more dysfunction and piss poor management, which to me seems more likely considering the hot ass mess that is the New York Yankees right now. Okay? Now listen to this crap. It gets better. Califoot, you're just in time. I'm ripping the Yanks as the boner of the week. Trade deadline was 6 p.m. yesterday. Okay? And as of 5:55, 29 of the 30 teams in Major League Baseball had made at least one trade. The only team to make 0 moves at that point, the New York Yankees. And then I got to watch a video of Brian Cashman getting into a sleeping bag and pulling his hood over his head. Like, Picture paints 1,000 words, bud. You've been asleep at the wheel for way too long. So what do? At about 5:58 or whatever, they go. I don't even remember the guy's name. That's how insignificant it is. I didn't even bother to look it up to put it in my run sheet because it's a move that this guy's going to be like what, the 6th or 7th reliever. He comes in for mop-up duty, so you don't have to have Isaiah kind of Falefa pitch a freaking inning. This is what they do, right? It was a move to say, oh, I didn't realize we were the only team to not make a trade. Let's go make a stupid one. So they go and do that. So, yeah, Brian Cashman and whoever else was responsible for that nonsense Monday night with the armpit, with Jermon's armpit and whatever, all of you are the boner of the week. All of you. And you're going to continue to get called out for it every single week on this show. I know you don't watch. I get it. But it's therapeutic for me. And it's hysterical for our audience. So I don't give a damn if you don't watch. If I knew what your email address was, I'd send you the recording every week because you make me sick. Boner of the week. Boner of the year. These guys, I'm telling you right now, everybody thinks I should. Bob Huggins is the boner of the year. Him, John Morant, or Brian Cashman. Right now, those are your 3 candidates for the year award. All right, that's your boner of the week. What do we got over here? Russ Taylor. I started bringing up the boner of the week. It would cause a lunar eclipse. Good Lord. Lou Mancini, team trainer, popped the zit. That's possible. Dude, I don't know. I just don't know. It's baffling to me how inept that organization is right now. With all of the resources that team has, that organization has, for Hal Steinbrenner to allow Brian Cashman to completely destroy that organization, it's just mind-boggling. I'm going to read you something here real quick before we move on to football. So, as of today, the Yankees are 2nd in the league in attendance. Okay? They are 29th in batting average, 19th in slugging, 22nd in stolen bases, 22nd in walks, 29th in hits, and 22nd in runs scored. Yet, still 2nd in attendance. And you'll wonder why Hal Steinbrenner doesn't care. What were we talking about last year? What have we talked about this year? For those of you who've known me for forever now, you've seen me complain about it for years now. At least 5 or 6 years now. Hal Steinbrenner is only interested in that line right there. The attendance. Attendance, 2nd. All of this stuff up here means nothing to him. As long as people keep going to the games and spending your money, nothing is going to change. Brian Cashman should have lost his job a few years ago. If he doesn't lose his job this season or next, I am going to lose my mind. All right, now. That's enough baseball for this week. So what we're going to do now is we are going to post this up here for you guys. If anybody wants to jump in as we move on to football. All right, I got to catch my breath here. I can't I can't even talk. It pisses me off so much. I know Califoot, you get a big kick out of all this. He's the one. Califoot messing with me a month ago or whatever, razzing me all the time like he does. Yankees suck. He says, Yankees are going to finish in last place, I guarantee it. And at the time, I'm like, oh, dude, you still got a couple months left. Dude, I'm not even sure. Forget just last place. I'm not sure we're going to finish above, I don't know, 12th in our own league. Forget about last place in the division. Anthony Rizzo couldn't hit water if he fell out of a freaking boat since, I don't know, for the last 3 months. Disgusting. Anyways, let's get over to football so I can stop all of that. We can have some fun as we move along through the show here. All right, let's talk some football. Training camp underway. I know all of you up there have been ultra excited about it. I see all of the posts from you guys and also in the different groups I'm in. A lot of talk about the Birds. Of course, everyone's excited. Huge year last year. Came up a little short in the Super Bowl. Looking back, looking to get hungry, stay hungry, and come back after it. A lot of new blood on the roster. A lot to be excited about, right? Changes at the coordinator position. One that was a must, or I think the city would have gone insane. Another one, I don't know how great it is losing Shane Steichen. I thought he did an excellent job. But, like we talked about on this show, when they were replacing the coordinators, Brian Johnson is the correct choice. And, just based on his relationship with Jalen Hurts and how well he does with quarterbacks. Full swing. Everything you see, you see high remarks for Nolan Smith, right? He looks great. You see, it looks like everyone on the defensive line looks very hungry. I saw a picture of Milton Williams. He looked like he was in the best shape of his life. That's a guy who only played, I think, 36% of the snaps last year, had 36 tackles, 9 for a loss, 3 or 4 sacks. Looking to make a bigger impact this year. I'm anxious to see a defensive set come out where you've got Reddick on one edge and Smith on the other, both with that 4-5 speed coming around the edge. Flush that quarterback up into a defensive line that is some combination of Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Carter Davis, BG. The secondary doesn't have to be great. They just need to be solid, right? And I'm not worried about the corner position, provided Avonte Maddox stays healthy, because the drop-off there scares me a little bit. You're not hearing great things about Greedy Williams right now, but we've got Keely Ringo who can learn the position. The biggest thing right now is we're too early to get too wrapped up in, this guy looks great and this guy looks like crap. A lot of these guys are brand new. You got a bunch of rookies, a bunch of second-year players. You got new guys on the roster, even, veteran new guys on the roster that are learning scheme, learning the playbook, and getting everything going, right? Now, you get 2 weeks in, and we look like crap in some preseason games when the first unit is out there. And say, another rumor right now is that Trey Sermon is outperforming Rashad Penny. I'm not saying that's the worst thing in the world, but we brought in Penny to make a difference. Sermon's there to kind of push these guys. So hopefully it just stays that way. I am not going to get wrapped up in who looks great and who looks like crap a week into training camp. I'm just not. It's not. It's nice to hear that guys are doing well. It's a bummer to hear some guys aren't really getting it yet. I think if not the biggest question on the defense right now going into the season, Nakobe Dean being the leader of that defense. He only played, I forget how many defensive snaps it was last year. I think it was like 35 total defensive snaps all of last season. He now takes over as the captain of that defense. He's wearing the green dot. He's calling the play from the sideline. So that's a huge question there. Look, he was outstanding at Georgia, all right? And he's now surrounded by a bunch of dudes that he was outstanding with as part of that Georgia defense. There's always going to be a guy. Like, we've taken a lot of guys from that Georgia defense, and the one kind of if you allow to play devil's advocate a little bit, the one thing you worry about is that, they looked great, that Georgia defense, right? But who on that defense, and there's always at least one of them, who on that defense was more a benefit of the other guys around them versus being one of those guys making everyone else better? And you just hope that we didn't guess wrong, right? The other big question is going to be the safety spot. As much of an idiot as Brian Cashman is with the Yankees, I get to enjoy who I feel is the best general manager in football in Howie Roseman. He continues to try to clear some more cap space for any additions we may need. You hear rumors that they are not completely out of the safety market yet, although Reed Blankenship seems to be doing quite well. I like Reed Blankenship. I like his energy. He's a hard hitter. But the secondary is going to live and die with the corners, right? That's where the money's spent in Bradbury and Slay, and then Maddox as your slot corner. Everyone stays healthy, performs to their ability. That's probably that might be the best corner trio in the league, guys. They are dead. I don't want to hear about Dallas. Stephon Gilmore is over the hill, okay? And I'm not going to call Trayvon Diggs overrated. Maybe just a bit overhyped. You know, I'm not. I think he can get torched just as easily as he can make a big play. So I think if Slade, Bradbury, and Maddox all stay healthy and play to their potential, it might be the best corner trio in the league. And that's going to be a big pain in the ass for a lot of teams, in particular a team like the Giants, who they did nothing to improve their wide receiver core. I don't want to hear about Darren Waller. He's a tight end. And he's a tight end who hasn't been healthy. All right, so I don't want to hear about their improved receive. They did not improve their receiving core. Yes, they got Saquon Barkley in the camp begrudgingly. Yes, they took care of their left tackle. They needed to. But apart from adding Darren Waller, I just don't see where they've gotten significantly better. I still think we are light years ahead of them. Dallas's roster is talented, but it's Dak Prescott at quarterback, guys. And now Tony Pollard is going to take all of the carries here. I mean, they'll mix it up. They'll have some other guys in there, of course. And nobody's a feature back anymore outside of a handful of dudes. But, I mean, I think Pollard's good. I just don't know if is he enough to take away the pressure off of Dak? We all know what happens to Dak when he gets flustered. He throws interceptions. I saw all these posts a couple of weeks ago where Dak Prescott saying, I won't even have 10, or somebody saying Dak Prescott won't even have 10 interceptions this year. No, you're right, because he's probably going to have 15. All right? He against better defenses, he tends to fold up like it's like a cheap suit, as is obvious in the playoffs. So, what I will get wrapped up in as far as training camp is the continued Jalen Hurts accolades, really. He says nothing, right? He just goes out and works. Shows you what he's made of by performance. And now we have this clip, TikTok, YouTube, whatever the hell it is, where he's sitting there with his phone, and you can see his phone lock screen. And it's a picture of him walking off the field after the Super Bowl loss. Guys, it's August. That was 6 months ago. And this guy's still walking around like it happened yesterday. He is the real deal. There is the drive that man has, the work ethic. You know, as long as he's at the helm, we're going to be contenders every single year. His leadership ability is completely off the charts. When you got a guy like Jason Kelsey, who's been in the league as long as he has, and he's calling him Mr. Hurts on his own podcast, that tells you all you need to know about what kind of respect Jalen Hurts commands in that locker room. And I am here for it, as I know all of you are. I think it's absolutely outstanding. So that's the Birds end of things. By next week, we should, maybe start getting a little bit better feel. Right now, I'm just not going to get wrapped up in it. Lou Mancini, reporters are saying he's dropping dimes. This kid is more mature than me too, brother. He's dude. I just love his demeanor. I also love that he's quiet, right? Would have been real easy for him to bark back at Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and whoever other idiot over at the 49ers chirping away that you only won because we didn't have Brock Purdy. No, that's not the case. It could have been a lot worse, but it would have been real easy for Jalen to fall into that and bark back at him. He doesn't. Go ahead, talk. I don't care. He knows what he's there to do. He knows what he's got one goal in mind. He got his contract, and you do not see any drop off coming from him at all. Which, some idiots, and most of us could have seen that Jalen wasn't going to get his contract and then turn into a bum, right? I mean, you could just see that in the demeanor of the kid. But you do have your contingent of morons that were out there. Oh, you know what happens once guys get paid? I'm like, nah, dude, not Jalen Hurts. No, he's worked far too hard to get to this point to just turn around and be a stooge after getting his money. No way that was going to happen. So we all know what's happening with our birds. Well aware of the reports, certain guys looking good, blah, blah, blah. Again, not going to get too wrapped up in it. Instead, there are two situations that are going on in camp right now that I would like to get wrapped up in, as we head towards the end of the show here. One of them in our own division, and we'll start there. Cowboys guard, Zach Martin. Okay. Apparently not satisfied with his contract, and he's decided to not show up at camp. And that's just a kick in the ass. Now, he's been with the team since 2014 and was part of that. He's been part of that offense. So you remember when they got Zeke and the offense ran through Zeke. It was Zeke and that offensive line that really made them, as good as they were at the time. And, that makes me want to throw up. But, and they were run first offense with Zeke there, even though they already had Dak. He's made 8 Pro Bowl appearances. And yes, we know Pro Bowl appearances aren't, they don't always mean that much and blah, blah, blah. And I don't mean to glaze over that too much because I know that our friend Hollis would call that out a lot. So, I mean, and I always respect his opinion. All pros are usually a little bit more important. But 8 Pro Bowls, you're not doing that by being a bum. He was also named to the NFL All-Decade team for the 2010s, right? He's had one significant injury back in 2020. It was a calf strain, kept him out for 6 games. Okay. Oh, Lou Dominguez, drop it in here. Your trip was epic here at the airport, heading to your state. Looking forward to hanging out Monday. Yes, sir. That's going to be a good time. So Lou, if you guys follow Lou and Ashley, they are coming up to Ohio, going to the Football Hall of Fame. Actually, I think Lou and Ashley are going to do a few things in Cleveland. I don't want to steal their thunder. Please watch their podcast to get the details there. But they'll be up in Cleveland doing some things there. Then they're heading to the Hall of Fame for Zach Thomas. And then they're going to spend a couple of days here in the Cincinnati area, and they're going to go to the Reds game on Monday night, and I'm going to go down there after work to meet up with them. Haven't seen Lou in a while. Have never met Ashley. Very much looking forward to that. So, Zach Martin, right? Back to Zach Martin. Had the injury back in 2020, but apart from that, has been pretty well healthy. Signed a 6-year, $84 million deal, including a $20 million signing bonus and $40 million guaranteed, with an average annual value of $14 million per year. That contract was signed back in 2018. For this season, 2023, he's set to earn a base of $1.7 million and a restructured bonus of $11.8. Now he's pissed because he's been the best guard or close to it in the league. And his current salary kind of pales in comparison to some of these other offensive linemen. Look at Chris Lindstrom, who's also a guard, is going to earn $20.5 million this year with the Atlanta Falcons. Well, the problem you got there, Zach, is it's always about that next man up, right? You signed your deal in 2018. We're 5 years later now. The salary cap has increased, right? More and more, the focus on quarterbacks and protecting the quarterback and getting after the quarterback has become more and more and more the focus of team building their roster. So yeah, you got priced out, dude. Like you signed your deal 5 years ago. Just because everything else has increased exponentially doesn't mean you're entitled to more. Get it honor your contract. Jerry Jones, as much as look, it's kind of a love-hate thing with Jerry Jones, right? For Eagles fans, I think a lot of you will agree. We hate him because he's the Cowboys owner. It's just because we hate the Cowboys. But you love him because he meddles so much with the team that they've been mired in mediocrity for over 10,000 days. So, right? But on this one, I'm never going to fault a player for going after his money, trying to get paid as much as possible. But I also can't fault Jerry Jones on this. And when asked about Martin not showing up to camp, Jones had this to say. There are a lot of consequences if he doesn't. He's been at the top of the money all the way through, drafted high and got a lot of money, and has gotten even more money over the years. It's just hard to get it all. We need the money to pay the players that we got to pay in the future. He's not wrong. He's absolutely not wrong. So for now, neither side seems willing to budge. So that's an ugly situation. If you think that guy doesn't mean a whole lot to that Cowboys offense, well, if this continues, everyone's gonna find out just how much he actually does mean. For Martin, he faces a $50,000 fine for every day of camp that he skips. This is where I get sick to my stomach. So you're set to make $11.8 million plus $1.7 million. What is that? $13.5 million this year between base salary and the restructured bonus. And you're going to sit out however many days at camp because you want more. So you're going to cost yourself $50,000 a day to try to get more money. I can't imagine he'd want that to continue for too long, right? It contradicts. You want more money, but you're costing yourself money. And again, nauseating to think that he would just surrender that amount. All right, before we move on to our last piece here, let's get caught back up with the room. God, I love you guys. You're the best. Where are we at here? David Califoot, bro, I called the Phillies World Series wild card round. I know my baseball. Yeah, well, even blind squirrels find chestnuts there, Califoot. Russ Taylor, I'm going to change my name to King of Memes or TikToks. King of TikToks for sure. I don't always respond to everything you send, Russ, but I do watch everything. I can't get to them all right away, but I do watch them, and it's always top shelf, brother. Keep them coming. Lou Mancini, George would have probably killed his wife because if he was alive, he'd have this. No way this. Oh, Steinbrenner. Oh, everyone would be fired by now if Steinbrenner was the owner. Russ Taylor. Is it bad? All I can hear. I don't know what that means. Maria. Yes, Hertz is about action speaking louder than words. Perfectly said. Absolutely. Keenan Harmon. QB1 has no ego. Agreed. Lou Mancini, when it comes to Hertz, he was raised by a village product. Like any child in any profession, in all walks of life, they will ultimately succeed. He also had to eat his humble pie at Alabama. Okay? He's had to work way harder than a lot of other guys have. You take a guy like Carson Wentz, who just had all the physical gifts, right? Big, strong, could move for his size, huge arm, right? He was obviously just handed the starting job everywhere he went, including in Philadelphia. So when crap hit the fan with him, he mentally couldn't handle it. And that proved out. It's proved out again in Indianapolis and in Washington. And now he's done. He's a backup at best. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, had to eat his humble pie in college when he got pulled in favor of Tua in a championship game. Yeah, Keenan, we'll get to the troll in a minute. Not sure if I want to give him the time of day yet, but we'll see. So, Jalen, after performing fantastic for Bama, got pulled at halftime of that championship game and had to watch Tua win it. He comes back, has to relieve Tua after Tua got injured, performed well, And then Jalen moves on to Oklahoma, puts up a monster season, ends up a Heisman finalist, drafted by the Birds in the second round in 2020, and here we are. The humble pie, guys. He knew what it was like to lose that. He knows that somebody's always coming after his job. Okay? So he knows he cannot rest. He knows he's got to keep working hard, and it shows. David Califoot, hey, heard from a birdie that Diggs had some choice words for that first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback Prescott Dallas. Yeah, I saw that video, dude. Again, early in camp, I don't think Dak is the answer for anyone. And it's nice to see that they're having, some internal fighting there. That it just gives me all the warm and fuzzies. David Duke, first of all, if that's your fake name, that's disgusting. Second of all, I'm taking it you're a Dallas fan. So you say the Birds suck. I'll say Dallas swallows. How's that sound, princess? But by all means, keep coming back. Whether you love us or hate us, keep watching. You get out of line with that. I don't like your name there. If that's a joke, if you're trying to be funny with the name you got up there. Now, if it's your actual name, then I apologize. But if that's supposed to be some joke, it's not funny. All right. Our final stop on the unhappy line tonight. It's time to give the NFL Hot Mess Express Ownership Award to somebody else. We've been, enjoying watching Daniel Snyder be a complete disaster for God knows how long. And rightfully so. Now, just like Jerry Jones, a little bit different, because a lot of what the stuff you were hearing out from Snyder's camp was pretty brutal. Racial, sexual stuff. But it was nice to see a team in our division that was a complete disaster, right? Don't act like you didn't love it. But he's gone now, right? Snyder had to sell. So who's the next man up? You could make a case that this guy might have been worse already, but no, we're going to go with drunken Jim Irsay up there in Indianapolis. Okay. Not that this is a shock with his antics over the years. Like I said, you can make a case he's been the top dog even with Snyder in the league. But again, we went with Snyder as the top dog in this arena because of all the racial, sexual nonsense that was going on there. But back to Irsay. Have you read the latest on this guy? Let's review. So running back Jonathan Taylor wanted a new deal and then publicly requested a trade after a meeting with Jim Irsay. And I know what you all are thinking. Here we go again with the running back market, right? Well, in Taylor's defense, even though he's on the PUP list right now, like we talked about with Saquon Barkley, he is one of the top running backs in the league. And the Colts do not know yet if they truly have a franchise quarterback. We went over this last week. We talked about Barkley as far as having Daniel Jones there and what teams that don't have an elite quarterback, you want to pay the running back, right? Again, this is another situation. So they drafted Anthony Richardson, right? But we don't know. Physically gifted, we all saw that. But we don't know what he's going to look like on the NFL level. So maybe paying Jonathan Taylor a 3-year deal worth a little bit more than what the franchise tag number would be might not be the worst thing in the world. However, Jim Irsay decided it was time to chime in after stating that the running back complaints on Twitter, now known as X, were of bad faith, while also stating, "We're not trading Jonathan. End of discussion. Not now and not in October." Yet another statement, likely after hitting the sauce a little too hard. And this is, and I quote Jim Irsay here, "If I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor is out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. We know that. The NFL rolls on. It doesn't matter who comes and goes, and it's a privilege to be a part of it. I mean, what a disaster. Are you kidding me? What in the hell does any of that have to do with the best player on your team wanting a new deal? I mean, are you really sitting there getting that hammered that this is I guess it is, right? What an absolute disaster. And now think about our former offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen. He gets a gig as the head coach he did an excellent job with our offense, right? So well earned. Gets the head coaching gig there. Knows he has a dynamic running back in Jonathan Taylor, so he picks the most athletic quarterback in the draft at number 4 overall. Remember, we called that shot. And it was 100% about the blueprint laid out in Philly, where he had not the one dynamic running back, but he had a group of running backs that could equal that along with the athletic quarterback. Steichen obviously trying to replicate that with his offense in Indianapolis. Now, his owner has taken an already tough situation with, Taylor saying he wants a bigger contract or he wants to be traded, and he just dumped a bunch of gasoline on the fire. Then consider Taylor, who has certainly earned the contract he's seeking. He knows that the Colts are at least 4 to 5 years from maybe paying a franchise quarterback. But because he's still under contract, he's stuck. He either sits and takes the $50,000 fine every day like Zach Martin's doing, or he plays in an environment that he feels is miserable for this season, at the end of which he'll likely face the franchise tag. So back to what we talked about last week, that next collective bargaining agreement, they have got to look at that franchise tag. Any way you cut it, that is an ugly situation, and Jim Irsay is at the forefront of all of it. Or should I say Jim Irsay and maybe Jack Daniels? All right, one more time over to the room here. So, David Duke. Look at this guy. Go Lions. All your teams suck and want to talk about racism. You all built a statue for a fake. Okay, first of all, you're going to need to learn how to spell. And second of all, Rocky is an icon. And you don't mess with Rocky. All right? As far as your Lions, looks like you guys should have a better season this year. We'll see. All looks good on paper. Got to go out and play. We took care of you last year. I have a feeling if we meet in the playoffs this year, we'll probably take care of you again. Mostly because, not the least of which would be because you'll end up coming to Philly. And I'd love to see you try to run your mouth like that in Philadelphia. But anyways, good-natured banter, brother. We can always exchange back and forth. Let's not talk racism. Let's not talk here on this show, we try to stay away from politics, try to stay away from religion. When it's necessary, we won't shy away from it. But for the most part, we're here to have fun. All right. As this room will tell you. So anyways, that's all I got for this week. What else you guys got in here? David Califoot, maybe which is a good possibility, but who the F is David Duke? I mean, if you're on a work computer or a work-related phone, I don't recommend Googling it. Do that from your own phone, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I think that's the name. I might be mistaken. What else do we got here? Lou Mancini, these pretzels are making me thirsty. David Duke gonna destroy your town if you win. Better grease the light pole. That's right, grease the poles, baby. Grease the poles. All right. Don't you worry about Philly, buddy. We'll be just fine. All right, guys. That's what I got for this week. So for everyone in the room, David Califoot, Keenan Harmon, Russ Taylor, Lou Mancini, Maria, Lou Dominguez. Who did we have at the top of the show? So I do Stephanie Morgan for coming on in the room. Thank you very much for your time. Nick Danini. Hope he's looking up Green Legion trip. Sound like he was interested in possibly Los Angeles. Who else did we have here? I don't want to miss people. I hate when I miss people. William Goins. And I believe there was one more. There was Andrew Bagley. I think that about sums it up. For all of you out there and everyone watching, listening who didn't comment, we thank you as always for joining us. Come back again next week. Next week should be fun. We're going to welcome in my sons, Grady and Liam. And we're going to talk about our ballpark rankings for the 15 that we have seen together, considering we are at the halfway point. David Duke, you're a troll. Just scroll random live streams. Yeah, whatever, dude. So anyways, come back next week. Check out me and my boys as we talk about our experiences at the 15 ballparks. We are going to rank them. I'm sure our rankings will be different. A lot of it is, I can tell you, Liam right now thinks the Rogers Center is in his top 5. It will not be for me. So right there, you have one difference off the bat. Anyways, come back. You'll enjoy that. And in 2 weeks, we are going to take this show back to the back porch. That's right. On Wednesday, August 16th, we will go live from the back porch saloon. Don't know if anybody's going to join me up there yet. Actually on the show. I know my partner up there, Mike, will still be playing volleyball. We'll see if we can get someone else to come up and banter with us. But until then, everyone, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week and the upcoming weekend. Be safe. Have a good time. We want to see you back here next week, all in one piece. And as always, go Birds! All right, kids, that's the end of it for me. We will see you next week. Take care. Love you.